Hey guys, welcome to Learn 8. In this video, we are going to discuss a Java program to print biggest and smallest element of the array. For example, if the array elements are 11, minus 12, 4, 51, 40, 99, 19, then the biggest element is 19, smallest is minus 12. Then if it is array elements which are, some elements are repeated and some elements are negative and positive, and with all such combination also. So the biggest element in the second array input we are going to get as 919, and the smallest is we are going to get as 1. I recommend you to pause the video and try your own logic. Let us understand how do we get biggest and also smallest element of the array. So for this, let us take some sample array. So but for discussion, so I am not taking this array with elements. So one integer array with array name as say ARR equals some elements I am taking, but logics will never depends on the values. It always depends on the corresponding index positions. It's not only for this question. For every array based question, the array name and the array's index positions 0, 1, 2, and 3 for this array, and also one predefined property for every array called as length property. So based on this, the name, indexes, and length property, we can write every array program logic. So let us understand how do we get this biggest. So to find the biggest, so we have to assume something as reference. Then can we assume array element as reference or outside element as reference? I recommend you to take a reference as outside element. So for that, I am taking one int with a name biggest as a variable name equals, because we are finding the biggest element of the array, smallest integer, we have to take it as a reference. Means from integer class dot, there is a min underscore value is a predefined value, that is a lowest value of the integer range. So if you take this as a reference, then obviously if you take at least two elements of the array, then there will be a biggest element than this one. That's the reason I recommend you to take a reference as integer dot min value to find the biggest. So once we have this variable and also the corresponding array elements, what is the logical part? We have to compare every array element, we have to compare with biggest. Every array element we have to compare with biggest. So while comparison, if the array element value is bigger than this biggest variable, then we supposed to swap those numbers. Correct? Then what is the step-by-step approach for that same process? So it is condition we have to check. If condition, what is that? Array name ARR, to get first element index position is 0, and if this is greater than the reference variable called biggest, then what we supposed to do? The corresponding condition body. So inside this, the array element we have to copy into this reference variable called biggest. Then only after checking for 0th index position element can we say that the biggest element is ARR of 0? No, because we're supposed to check each and every element of the array. Then it's not else part, it is a continuous condition. So if condition ARR of 1, we supposed to compare with again biggest. So while comparison, because we are finding the biggest, so here the order array element is bigger than or greater than biggest element, then we supposed to copy that array element, that is ARR of 1, into this variable biggest. So like this. So how many elements we have to check? Each and every element of the array. So finally 0, 1, 2. Then also we have to write for 3. So dot 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 I am writing. So this is the step-by-step approach to find the biggest element of the array. Then is it recommended approach? No. So for this, we supposed to generate the loop. Is it possible to generate? Yes. Assume that I'm writing our code inside a main method. So first we need one integer array. So int ARR equals some array elements. Again, I'm not writing the elements. Followed by we need one reference. So that is int reference variable name is biggest. equals, what's the value as a reference? So from integer class dot min underscore value. So this everything min underscore value, these letters should be in uppercase letters and it should be underscore, not hyphen. Then followed by, so for this step-by-step approach to avoid code duplication, we have to generate the loop. So for, and since this 0, 1, next 2 and 3 also, they are integer values. Therefore, one int I equals to start from 0th element. Then always the loop has to run to till the last index element of the array. That is, I should be less than or equals to array name ARR dot length property. Because we are using equals, then -1. Then followed by every element of the array, therefore incrementation by 1. Then what's the code inside the array? Every if condition is nothing but one code duplication. The duplication part we should put inside the loop body. So if condition, what is that? ARR. Now 0, 1, 2, 3 are present in variable I. So ARR of I and greater than this biggest. Then if it is so, we supposed to copy that array element, sorry, ARR of I into this variable called biggest. Then finally, closing of the for loop, outside the for loop. So if you use a print statement and print the variable name as biggest, which gives the output as biggest element of the array, and closing of the main method. That's it. Then how do we get the smallest? Smallest also, it's very easy. We need one more reference variable for finding the smallest. So that reference variable, so let us consider as int smallest. And since we are trying to find the smallest, then what should be our reference? Biggest element of the array. So that is integer dot max, all capital letters, underscore value, again all capital letters. This is the reference. Then what we supposed to do? The loop is same, condition is same, but what is the change? The same ARR of I if should be less than the smallest. Then what we supposed to do if this condition is true? Then the same array element ARR of I, we supposed to store it back to a smallest. Then instead of printing biggest, what we supposed to print? We supposed to print smallest, that's all. It's not simultaneous, please understand it correctly. So we find the biggest with the first part, and just by changing this variable from biggest to smallest and with the reference value from minimum to maximum, and changing the condition from greater than to less than, and copying that array element again back to smallest only, then we have to print smallest. These are two different programs. So it's not in a single program can we get this? No. Okay. I hope you understood. Let us also execute through the IDE. To execute this, I have taken a class name called biggest smallest, and inside the main method, so one array for reference, and a variable name is biggest, which is of integer type, and the reference value to that is integer dot min underscore value. Then we are having a for loop which is starting from 0 and which is running till the last index element of the array, and incrementation by 1. Then inside this for loop body, we are having a if condition. If the array element is greater than the biggest, then what we supposed to do? The same array element we have to copy to biggest variable. Then outside the for loop, so we are using a print statement to print the biggest element of the array. So for this given input, what's supposed to be the output? So it is 100 is the biggest. So let us execute. So sorry, not second biggest, this print statement, just simply biggest element. So let me save and re-execute again. So biggest element is 100. So now let us cross verify by changing some of the input. So I'm giving us 4 nines. Now if we re-execute, so it's supposed to be output. So which is working fine. Then what is the change that we supposed to make to find the smallest? So I'm commenting this biggest variable and I'm enabling this smallest, and which is assigned to integer dot max value. Then what is the condition? So array element should be less than the variable called smallest. Then what we supposed to do? Same array element we have to copy back to smallest variable. And then finally, it's not biggest this time, it's the smallest element and where the variable name is smallest. So for the same input array, let me execute this program. Which is the smallest? It's supposed to be minus 12. So let us execute and cross verify. So it is giving us minus 12. So for cross verification, I'll make this minus 4 nines now. Let us save and re-execute one more time, and which is giving the right output as well. So this is the complete generic logic of finding the biggest and finding the smallest element of the array. I hope you enjoyed it. For me to make more videos, please post your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.